Have you ever asked God for a sign, a heavenly wonder, a miraculous doing of some kind to give you an indication, to comfort you or to lead you or to uh, indicate what choice you should make? Have you ever asked God for a sign? I have. I'm Marcus Jackman. I'm the pastor at Copper Hills Church in Harriman, Utah. I have asked God to speak and to show me very clearly. I remember one time, it's not always like this, but I remember one time just in desperate hurt and anxious fear, praying to God, God, will you please show me this? Will you please show me this? Give me a sign that you're with me. And I remember, I believe that he answered me. And I believe he said, I will do anything under the sun for you. Ask any sign that you wish, and I'll do it. And that took me aback. Uh, and then I heard the rest of the answer, and he said, but you have to believe it. If you ask for any sign under the sun, I'll do it, but you must believe it. And I don't really want to have this conversation again, Marcus. And that really froze me because I realized the question about the sign was not about God, are you there? God, are you leading? But I wanted a sign because I didn't want to believe, because I was scared. Maybe you've been there. In the book of Isaiah, we're looking at God's grace to sinners. And we're looking at a specific time, just after the last passage we had a verse on, if you won't stand firm in faith, you won't be firm at all. Then in Isaiah chapter 7, verses 10 to 14, again the Lord spoke to King Ahaz, ask a sign of the Lord your God. Let it be as deep as Sheol, the underworld, the abode of the dead, or as high as heaven. But Ahaz said, and this is kind of false righteousness, I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to the test. And he said, Isaiah said, hear then, O house of David, is it too little for you to weary men that you weary my God also? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Now again, this would find its ultimate fulfillment in the birth of Jesus Christ as a child of the Virgin Mary. But while I want to leave that in, I want us to draw attention to the fact that Ahaz says, I'm not going to ask for a sign, and puts this pious face on his fear. He puts a pious face on his lack of faith. God has made a promise before Ahaz has had this offer put to him. God made a promise, I'm not going to let my people be overcome. I won't let my plan be destroyed. I will not leave you. I will not forsake you. And God invites him through his prophet Isaiah, ask me for a sign to encourage your heart about this. And Ahaz won't, because in the end, Ahaz doesn't. And in the end, sometimes do we? Do we trust God at his word? God's grace is extended to us, and we know it historically through the person, work, life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and in countless other ways. His promises are extended to us in his word. Why won't I trust that? It's not about getting a sign. Seeing isn't necessarily believing. Seeing is not the same thing as believing when it comes to the Lord God. We can see him work all the day long, and then tomorrow we've got the same fears, right? We have a struggle, and that's the struggle of faith. What is keeping you? What is keeping us from boldly trusting his word, his grace, his favor for us when he didn't need to give us any promises, when he wasn't under any obligation to explain himself or identify his heart to us? Ask yourself, why do I have a hard time believing him? Why do I want to see something also? Do you imagine somehow that a sign or a wonder would make you sure of him? Sure of your favor in his eyes, sure of your forgiveness in Jesus, sure of his grace for you as a sinner? Would some sign do that? If what he has done already of promise, sending us this thousands of years old love letter about his great, abiding, steadfast care for his people that he's chosen from before all time, if Jesus on the cross, dead and then resurrected, isn't enough, what will a sign do for you? What will that give you? He has called you by name. He has made you his own. And he's attested to that in his word, which stands forever. Seeing isn't believing. Resting is believing. I encourage you in that today. I challenge myself in that today because I want the signs again today. I want to know and see without having to rest and wrestle my heart down to the mat and rest on him. I'd like to just have a vague, superficial confidence of his favor. But he says, I want your heart to rest on me. This isn't about a sign. This is about your trust in me. Bless you today.